Good afternoon, everyone. This is Harmeet from Signal Picks. Thank you for tuning in. Today, we're going to be going over our weekly Elliot Wave review of SPY, QQQ, and IWM. Just before we get started, just to let you guys know, if you hear some nasally noise, I'm getting over getting COVID. I'm still a little bit under the weather, but getting over the hump. So excuse my little nasally voice this week. All right, so let's get going. So we were discussing last week that looks like we may be coming to this larger wave structure, maybe coming to an end, and with what we didn't discuss was the Fed meeting at FOMC at Jackson Hole, but it did come at the things happen for a reason, came at the right time, and we were discussing that if the price could hold 410 area, it would be extremely bullish. Otherwise, have it go test this 400 level. So, I mean, I think at this point everybody's heard what Jay Powell had to say and how he is willing to inflict a lot of pain on the markets or consumers or everybody to get inflation down. I'm gonna digress on why uh, and how I think is not a good idea the way he's going about it. But I think there are a lot of other smart people that you can go look out for and get that review. But the markets took it pretty, they markets did not like his speech, and this is a significant momentum move down. Okay, and just to be aware of the fact that now this just opens just because we've gone through some major pivots. 410, 406, this is 406, and the 405 are your minor pivots. Okay, we are looking at this 400 level. I think it gets tested, and then if that breaks, and we are looking at this 393 level. That we just have to be mindful of the fact. Let's just go to the other chart that we were also looking at last week for the SPY. I went ahead and we were discussing, how this has a 5 wave structure on the daily. Okay, we were saying that there is a 5 wave structure, and also there is a structured ABC move up. Okay, and now we should be coming into the C wave. So I went ahead and did some analysis for you guys just to show you what I was thinking. We knew that the 200 SMA was hit. That ends the rounded bottom breakout. Okay, and we also knew that there would be some sort of pullback, but this is a pretty big deal, this pullback right here that happened on Friday yesterday. And right now, even though we stopped at 405, I think, I'm not sure, it was like 402 or whatever by the end of post market, but right now this 396 and 398, which is where the 50-day SMA is, it's a fair game at this point that those areas will get hit just from this scenario itself. And the larger scenario being that we go and test this 362, and let's just quickly, let me put that out there, what this is. Okay, 362.17, that's the 100% decline from A to B, B to C. Okay, that is in the books right now, that could happen. That's a very well a scenario that could play out until the end of the year. So be mindful of it. We still haven't seen this C wave fully develop on this scenario, and if we were to go back, we are not. We know that the larger fourth wave is not fully complete yet. The only thing that we don't really want to see, that I at least would not want to see, is, again, I mentioned it in previous videos, was because we don't want to see it break through this 362 level. We're quite a ways away, okay, 10% away or so. But this is where the major breakdown happens. This is where you see momentum pull in, maybe where capitulation could happen. So maybe we could see that. I mean, it could go there, and capitulation happens, and something, and then we start moving back up. But that is where a lot of the things break down, and the markets just become, well, as unhealthy as they are right now. They become kind of a very, they go into the darker um, ranges that a lot of the investors probably do not want to see that have are retiring, like a lot of these boomer populations that are retiring. So that being said, just let's see how this develops. That was just one day momentum move. It could just come back, do a V, do a V shape recovery. That is a possibility. Or it could just come back, test this 410, and keep moving down. So just those are the few scenarios that we want to see, that I think will play out over the next weeks. Of course, the one other scenario is that it just doesn't do anything and just goes sideways, and that's also a possibility. But right now, just because it's momentum move on Friday, expect it to move down and test its 400 and maybe test this 393 for the next week. All right, let's go to QQQ. The same scenario, but the one thing that it didn't do, like that we discussed last week, was it did not go and test the 200 SMA, and it's breaking down towards the 50. So, oh, excuse me. Let's go back. So now the big problem is the fact that it is back into this area. Okay, this is below the fourth wave. Okay, and this means that this opens up again to go to 269, same thing as SPY, and of course that hit that 300 zone. So if for some miracle reason we end up holding the 300, I think that will be somewhat bullish for the markets for QQQs. If it does not end up holding that, I think we are going to start looking at this 281 and 275, just because of the way the momentum move is. Okay, it did again. This is your stereotypical extension. Okay, it did get there in within that zone, and so it was bound to bounce, bound to take a pause at least and go from there. So but Jay Powell had different ideas about that. So not much to say that other than that we are expecting it to go down quite a bit and quite fast. Okay, let's get going. To IWM, same scenario again with IWM as the markets are moving together. And so we'll just quickly point out, we broke down through 190, broke through the fourth wave. That opens up, if we can hold, I don't think it's going to hold 188.09. I think we are looking at 182.84 as or 183 to 182 zone as our target of the week for it to go down and find some support. This just it's I just wanted to show you guys this. This has a 5-wave structure. Okay, all the previous ones did too. This declines in QQQ also has this 5-wave structure. Okay, that's forming. Okay, and if you also go back and look at SPY, the same thing. So this gives us a few things to look at. Okay, so these 5-wave structure, though, let's go back to the IWM chart. So that just tells us that there may be a 2-wave move up and then another 5-wave move down. Okay, so this could be C type uh, correction, and we just don't know how far it's going to go. It can go all the way down to 162 here, and also all the way down, and QQQ's inspired to test their lows that they were hit, in June, and so there's lots of things to consider. The sentiment, at least in my mind, I think has changed to bearish. I think that Monday is a pretty big day, uh, and Monday and Tuesday, both days, are going to be pretty big day because it gives time for the markets to digest what exactly, how the policy and how hawkish they're being will affect their investments, and they will probably start pricing that in for a more aggressive rate hikes as we move forward. Okay, thank you so much for tuning in. Again, I'm sorry I could not be. The nasally voice is just getting over this COVID, which is kind of it's hell pretty much. Let's just say that. So, but I digress, and we'll see you next week. Thank you. Have a great weekend.